Guys, it's time for another live at 9:45, and this week I have a pretty awesome episode for you. Excuse me. I want to apologize in advance. I've been sick all week, so I've been trying to recuperate and rest and do all those things, but I'm going to have sniffles and coughs, and I'm going to power through, but in case you wonder what's going on, that's what's going on. So, anyway, if you haven't tuned into the show in the past, this is live at 9:45, hosted by me, Adam Van Ord of Van Ord Customs. I see a bunch of you coming in, and I appreciate you all coming in. I do want to talk briefly at the beginning here and let you know that we see you come in. We appreciate you all. I will call out to you and ask you to respond with some things here and there. Hit the like button, all of that stuff. But we probably won't speak to all of your comments due to the fact that we're going to keep the interview flowing and so on and so forth. So, funny comments already. So, anyway, to talk about what's going on tonight, I have Mike Lohmann on the show. Mike has one of the most incredible, probably, scale collections I have seen floating around the internet. I've seen lots of collections with people with big amounts of RC trucks. Mike's collection is huge, and it is fantastic, to be honest with you. So I can't wait to see what he has picked to share with us and to show and to talk about with what's going on. Other than that, you can check me out all over various different places around the web. Mike Lohmann, that's who, Ben Morin. All right, so let me get this thing fired up. I gotta switch over to my questions here and find him in the stuff, and we'll get started. So as I am bringing him up, why don't you type up where you are watching from and what's going on right now. So do that, and I'll bring him into the show. Oh, they changed the buttons. That's cool. As he comes in, they changed the buttons in Facebook. It's nuts. So, how's it going, Mike?
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, I'm just fixing the volume here. It, like, changed it for some reason.
Huh.
Oh, there we go. Better now. All right.
I think you're just operating off of my phone right now for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. I wonder what's going on with that. All right. Either way, I'll make it work. I'm not too worried about it. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good now. Yep, good to go.
All right. I do have to check one thing first. I need to make sure I'm getting power to my phone. But I just need to make sure that my phone's on constant charge, or I will lose everybody, and I don't want to do that. So
right on.
All right. So like I said, I'm not sure my mic is working and all that. I plugged my adapter in, and it said it's not supported by my device. Doesn't make any sense. But all right. So let's start this off with, tell us a little bit about you.
Mike Lohmann, for those who don't know me, from Long Island, New York, or as I like to call it, the land of no. I'm just really not cut out for this spot. I think I'd be better fit somewhere West Coast where there's wheeling and drag strips and stuff. But yeah, I like toy trucks, sort of fast Subarus and Chevelles and Toyota mini trucks.
Awesome. So how long have you been in the scale RC hobby, or just RC in general, maybe even?
It's been it'll be 24 years now. I started at 9. That was when I got my first hobby grade truck. I had Tycos and things before that, but when people ask, I go by the hobby grade. So I started at 9, so just about 24 years now.
All right. Yeah, that's been a long stretch for you there.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Awesome. So what or who got you into it and got you started?
Really my stepfather, Jeff. Years and years ago, when my mom and him got together, as like an icebreaker, she had him come over, and he had a couple of cars at the time, but he brought over his Midnight Pumpkin and his Tamiya Wheelie Pajero. They were the originals. And I had my Tyco Bandit, and I thought that thing was rad until I saw his doing wheelies and everything else, and it just took off, from there, So but that's where it started. He got me into it, and my parents have been, very supportive of it throughout all the years. We would go, as I got older, we'd go to events, the NRCTPA, and just, the hobby shops every weekend, and so it was good. But yeah, he's still into it. So I mean, some of the stuff in the collection is his. Like the pullers and stuff, and like the Tamiya semis, but we just keep it all together and everything. So,
right. if you weren't in RC right now, what hobby would you be doing?
I would definitely be more engulfed in like the my full size stuff. I've got my STI swap WRX, and I have a '68 SS Chevelle, and I got the the full size TF2 63 years old Toyota. So I think if I didn't do the RC stuff, I really have my heart set on something right hand drive. So I think probably I'd be spending that all on like a nice R32 GTR or something like that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, what was your first hobby grade RC truck? And I'm sorry if I missed it. I'm trying to make sure all my stuff's plugged in right over here. I don't know what's going on.
So my first one was the Blackfoot. I had the Bandit, and that thing, took 4 hours to charge. It was so worthless trying to, use it, with my stepdad and stuff. So he gifted me his Blackfoot, and then I proceeded to ruin the dog bones every week, reversing it, forwarding it to do wheelies and stuff. And at the time, I couldn't afford the Thorpe rear or any of that stuff. So literally every Friday and Saturday, they would take it to the hobby shop, and I'd spend $7 and buy those new crappy hex dog bones to put in the back of it. So, but yeah, Blackfoot's what started it.
All right. All right. Are you a big tire guy, or do you like little tires?
Well, I think it depends. I do like monster trucks. I'm a huge old school clodbuster guy. So if we consider those big tires, big tires in those. But when it comes to the scow crawlers, I mean, really anything over like 4.3, I'm like, nah, like they just seem too big for a lot of the things. So I'm usually hover around like that, 4.15 or so, 4.25, like the Stompers. That's like my favorite tire. So tiny tires.
All right. Brushed or brushless?
So I'm kind of old school, and I like brush motors. And it's probably going to sound crazy, but I actually like to rebuild them. I still have my Hootie lathe, and whenever I get a brand new motor, like if I pull up, an Vintage out of the pack, or I buy like a used Holmes motor or something like that, the first thing I do is I tear it apart and throw a fresh cut on the com, and clean it all out, align my brush hoods, make sure my brush spring tension's good, and like I get all nerdy with it. I mean, I'm by no means a super electric motor guru, but I don't know, I just, it's part of the hobby for me. Like I enjoy doing that. So brushed.
Awesome. Awesome. What do you like most about the RC hobby in general?
All right, so probably gonna contradict myself here a little bit, but not typically like a real big people person. I think it's maybe part of like my job and stuff, but the community as a whole, like the people that are in the hobby, definitely that. I've made a lot of great friends from all over the country. Guys that I may only see them once a year, or I may not see them for years. And you BS with them, text, and you catch them on phones, or you catch that one event, and you kind of pick up right where you left off. And
Right.
I've made a lot of really good friends. My buddy Cole from California, he got me to see him a couple years back, but we've been friends since like going back to like the RCMT days of the forums. We were both like just little kids, and now we're basically grown up and stuff, and we're still together, still hanging out, still BSing. I talk to Cole all the time during the week, and then he's actually come out here. He came out the one day, the one time, and was checking out the collection. So the people, for the most part, it's a good group.
Awesome. So you brought up, you said something about your job. What is your day job, man? That's not on my list. I never even thought about it, but what do you do?
I work for the sheriff's office, and now a corrections investigator. But previously, I worked the tiers in a maximum security prison. So you kind of,
All right.
Obviously not going to trust those guys by any means. And then it kind of just, hardens you a little bit and stuff. Just think about things differently.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, understandable. So
I think your screen is a little frozen for some reason.
Oh, awesome. So that's great. I can have lots of technical issues. I checked my speed and all of that. Guys on the other end, can you at least hear me? I'm not sure what's
your
going
audio
on.
is fine. It's just like you're just frozen.
Awesome. Um, so anyway, so while I ask you the next question, I'm gonna see if I can send my wife a message and maybe boot her off of some of the internet,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
That works.
But
That works.
so my next question for you is that uh, I know you do a lot of builds. You're really into the scale scene, but do you compete in any of like the competitions? And if so, what is your favorite one?
So that's definitely a no. And that's mostly because here in New York, they're like on Long Island, particularly, there isn't anything here. You know, there's a couple of local guys that are into it, and they'll travel into like Jersey and PA and stuff. But as far as like a local club, it's just not existent. And as far as terrain goes too, that's kind of like the other problem. There really isn't. It's kind of like people probably find it like ironic, like, oh, you're in scale rock rollers and you don't have any rocks. But you know, like I'll take the trucks out to the beach, like an inlet, and like there's all rock quarry stuff out there. So like I'll mess around with them out there. But I mean, if there was a local club and there was rocks and stuff, I mean, yeah, I mean, I would definitely do that on the weekends. It's just that it's not existent. And then for me to, you know, just getting off the island's like an hour and a half ordeal, and then to wherever I'm going. So it's tough. And that's why like now I really just try to make it to at least one or two of the big events, you know, to see all my buddies and actually get to crawl on some good terrain, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. All right. So next question, as I'm bouncing around on my computer here, what was your first like fully detailed scale build?
I would say, I guess my real first legit build would probably be my Chino clone, which Ryan Big Baller has. I'm trying to get it back from him. He's got it buried in a box. One of these days, he's going to dig it out. I'm going to make him sell it back to me. But that was probably like, you know, when I built that truck back then, it was kind of, in my opinion, like ahead of the times of like scale in general. I had like pulled out like kind of all the stops, and I had lighted gauges, and I scratch built like, you know, the dash to be accurate, and you know, the interior was upholstered, and CB radio, winch controller. You know, I brazed up all my bumpers, and that truck kind of went, you know, that truck went all over the place with me. You know, I went out to Moab with me, I went to Montana with me when I went to Scale Nationals there. So that was like my first super duper detailed build, and it just kind of, I built upon that. You know, I used that truck as like my basis, you know.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry, I'm trying to navigate all the things. All right, so how many trucks? So I see them all in the case behind you and what's going on back there. How many trucks do you have in your collection at this point? And then I had another piece of that. Would you like to share like 3 of them or so? And then I want to talk briefly to the people who are watching, and A, apologize that I'm frozen if I'm still frozen, and B, when I come back, guys, if you just message and let me know that I'm back, if I make it back in, that'd be amazing so I can know what's going on. But additionally, how many trucks do you guys have? Post that up and what's going on there. So
I went around and did a count, and I'm at 115 right now, cars and trucks. So good, pretty hefty number.
that's intense.
Um,
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about my favorites, and that's a super hard one. You know, people ask me all the time, like, oh, what if you had to sell everything? You know, what, you know, you can only keep, you know, one. And I don't even think I could do that. I think for me, I'd have to keep one car and one truck. For the trucks, it would definitely be my one Clodbuster that was just in RC car action recently. It's old school Clod, tilt bed, Palmer Hemi, GPS wheels. And then as far as my favorite car in my collection, it would definitely be this car here. This is just my all-time favorite car in my collection. It was built by Tim Miner, who sadly passed away from cancer some years back. And Tim was a really great guy. He was an excellent builder. A lot of people probably don't really know who he is. I mean, the old school guys do. But Tim was way could build anything. Like, it didn't matter if it was a drift car or a monster truck, a crawler. People ask about the Camaros and stuff all the time. Tim was the guy that started that. Tim was the first one to do the Camaro. And when Tim was ill, he was pumping out builds like crazy. And when he built this car, right away I was drawn to it. It just had every detail that to me, like, when I think scale RC, like, this car kind of sums it up. And yeah, that's definitely my favorite. I mean, as far as how I attained the car is kind of crazy too, because Tim was ill and stuff, and everyone was kind of rooting for him to get better, and he was going through treatments and stuff. And then Jason, JIA, Jason and Augusta, he was an editor for RC Driver. He actually got together with Tim, and he did a big review for him on his. He built this like Hummer truck on like a Tamiya XC chassis with all like the hop ups and stuff. It was a really, really cool truck. It was like really popular on the web and everything. And Jason got in the magazine for him before he passed away and stuff. And then the collection, when the community got notified that he passed away, everyone was kind of like, oh well, we hope that like his son ends up with it. And I guess probably like a couple months after his passing, his son kind of popped on the forums and was like, oh, I found the thread about my dad and like, appreciate all like, the love and stuff. My dad loved, Scale 4x4 RC forums, and, I have his stuff, and, just kind of checked in, and then like no one really ever heard from him again. And then, not to ramble on too much, but I'll try to wrap it up a little bit. But afterwards, because not to get involved in this guy's personal life, but he was going through a divorce and stuff. So I contacted the seller, and I was concerned that the cars were sold out from like underneath his son. So I bought the car, and I tried to reach out to his son. And I was like, hey, I found your dad's car on eBay. If you want it, it's yours. And he never responded. And then just probably a couple years back, he popped back up on Scale 4x4. And he was older now. And he's, I think he's in the Coast Guard or the Navy or something like that, the service. And he was like, oh, I have my dad's stuff. I'm not really into it too much. And, I'd rather see guys from this site here, have the stuff. So right away I inquired about the 57 Chevy and the Rat Rod pickup. And what ended up being really cool is I formed a friendship with his son, because just like his father, who was also into full-size cars, so was his son. He was into Subarus, and everyone knows that I love Subarus. So we got to talking, and I got him like pointing in the right direction with getting his car up to snuff with the maintenance and what to do and not do and stuff. And he ended up hooking me up like big time. I mean, and I was able to preserve a lot of Tim's collection. So I have the 57. I've got the Rat Rod. I've got the Cuda. I've got his pre-runner. I've got his drag bug in the case, and a couple of his other Beetles that he did. So I have the majority of what his son had. So I was able to preserve it because, like I said, Tim was just an outstanding builder, and I like to be able to have his stuff like live on, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm getting lots of messages about popping in and out, guys. If it doesn't clear up, keep letting us know. We'll see what's going on. We'll struggle through for a few more minutes here and see what's up, and then we might have to re-log in. I don't know what's up. I literally restarted my phone before this, and when I went to do Facebook this time, all the notification things at the bottom are different. So ideally, it's going to work, but Facebook changes it every week on me, usually on Thursdays. So always fun. So, all right, man. Let's see where we're at here. With the huge collection, you already started to get into some of the stories. You started to talk about some of the stuff. I have to call out, and it's not on my thing, but I have to see the Camaro. So like, I need to see one of them like up there. You're coming in good for me right now, so this is for me. Sorry, everybody else.
All right, so I'll pull out this one. I think this is probably the most popular one out of all of them. And what's cool about this one is this one's built partially, or I should say mostly, by Dan Looney Bin, another amazing builder, great fabricator. And Dan was lucky enough to, when Tim had the car, I'd always wanted to buy it. And I just didn't want to I didn't want to be that guy to bug him about it. And then all of a sudden, boom, I seen someone else had it. And I was like, oh, I should have freaking tried to buy that thing when I wanted to. And then it changed hands to Dan. And when Dan got it, he didn't use the original chassis, which was RC10 based. He built up a full, pro mod tube chassis and stuff. So this thing's got it's like a whole 850 cert car. I did the wheelie bars in the back, and but it's got the one piece front clip and everything. And what's cool though is the body is Tim's original car. And then Dan was kind enough, when he was building this, he sold me the original chassis. I picked up another body and started putting that together to, keep the original going. But yeah, so this thing's awesome. Everyone always asks about this. This is a really cool car. I've run it a couple of times. One of these days I really want to finish it. I'm kind of glad, as weird as it sounds, that I haven't finished it yet. Only because when the car was originally built, as far as the scale support, it's quadrupled now. So now you have all the crazy scale engines and the 3D printing. So when I finally have some time to put that thing all the way back together, I mean, that thing's gonna be so rad. It's not gonna be funny. It's gonna be one of the best builds out there, because just the idea of that being a model car body, that was a 1/8 monogram model kit. That's where that originated from. And Dan's tube chassis work he's right up there with like Boyers and those type of guys. So that thing's gonna be sick when it's done. But everyone always asks about that. I've had 8 million people try to buy it, and I'm like, no, not gonna happen. that one's staying.
All right. Well, I don't think I'm coming in any better. I'm not sure. Am I still frozen, or are you seeing me in real time? So
yeah, it's weird. It kind of glitched out to a different pose of you, but it's still.
All right, so what I'm going to do is, for all of you guys watching, please tune back in. I'm going to post up a round number 2. We're going to see if we can't do this over again. I think I'm going to restart my phone, so it'll be about 5 minutes or so. I just want to make sure I do it all right. In fact, I'm going to restart my internet and everything. So it'll be 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll be back fired up and good and going. And I apologize, guys.